ready to go home? So this trip we've been planning for 10 years now, since the first time we went to China. We're finally going to get to go. See how it goes. Have a safe flight. And it's 11 hours later and we've just landed. So it's just gone 11. We've met Maggie at the airport and we're just going to get into the car and go home. Safe flight, very nice, quick flight. So here we are, looking forward to this trip. So the time is 11:39 local time. We have just cleared the airport. We've met Maggie, Jenny's mum, and we are now on our way to her house in Beijing. The temperature at the moment is a pretty scorching 35 degrees. It's really hot, although my friend Scott Lupian said that it rained a couple of days ago. If all things pan out okay, he's just offered to come and meet us tomorrow, and we may have a go and look for some of the local reptiles and amphibians. There are still quite a few that I haven't seen. Maybe Calula borealis or Bombina orientalis would be nice. Or he wants to find Eucatopus rufidosatus, the redback rat snake. So with luck we'll be able to liaise tomorrow and do a short trip. And then a few days after that we are going to head off. Jenny, Maggie and I are going on our trip, which we've been planning since before the first time I ever arrived in China in 2014, which was to Qinghai, the Tibetan Qinghai plateau, with the Gobi Desert en route. So that's something that we're all really looking forward to, and hopefully we should see a few cool sights. So the outskirts of Beijing they're surprisingly wild, actually. It's a very green city, I find. Even relatively deep into the city centre, there are always parks and scenic areas that you can see a surprising amount of wildlife. I'm driving to Maggie's house in Xining. It actually gets really green and pretty, and we've actually found more than a few snakes just close to her house. So we'll see what we find. So here we are in China with my lovely wife and my lovely mother-in-law. Now, a lot of you will assume that I love coming to China for herping, and yes, while it is true that herping is one of the best things in China, and China has one of the most diverse herpetard diversities in the world, actually, this is why I love China. Nowhere else in the world does food quite like this country. Now, I've grown up loving anglicized Chinese food, which is, I found out, very, very sweet and salty and sour. And yeah, it does hit the spot. I can't deny that I love it. But it pales in comparison to real, genuine Chinese food. This is the real deal. And the prices are so cheap here.
The big prawn.
So the big prawns.
Fried prawn. 15 pounds.
So it's very cheap for what you get compared to the UK. We've got duck hearts, braised tenderloin. So we've ordered a few good things, and now we can't wait, and I'm salivating already. Of course, we did end up going for some of those lovely prawns. Just to give you an idea of the portion size, though, these are not just shrimp, these are king-type prawns. They are quite large. Yeah, Yes.
I saw.
You sure? Yes. You just want to eat the first one. Yes. Tasty.
The prawn is very big.
So in China, the saying is 吃好喝好, eat well, drink well. It's kind of a school of thought which I am thoroughly in agreement with. And we've ordered, of course, the quintessential Beijing meal. Peking duck here, roast
Peking
duck.
roast duck, not crispy
Aromatic duck.
aromatic.
Yeah, completely different, much juicier. And here they bring out the whole duck and cut it for you at the table. Last but far from least, we have several different cuts of Peking roast duck, which is much juicier and wetter than the aromatic crispy duck we're used to at home. It's served with hoisin sauce we're used to, cucumber, spring onion, but also with something like quince, I think, and melon, and also sugar. So you get different cuts of the duck, including the duck's face, but also the nicest cuts of the duck in the skin. You don't just have it with hoisin, but you also dip in the sugar itself, and the other bits you put in the pancake, as is traditional at home. And my God, it's nice, and it's so much juicier and with a stronger flavour than what we're used to at home. First one for the mother-in-law.
Thank you.
So, first evening in Beijing, and we're already finding herps. We just came out for a little walk to walk off the muscle fatigue from being in a plane for 11 hours. And we can already see Peking geckos. Gecko swinho, they're named after Swinho. They are one of the most northerly distributed geckos in the world, and it is actually a true gecko. So although it kind of looks about the same size and shape as a house gecko, like Hemidactylus, it is in fact of the genus Gecko, which is the same proud genus that has the most celebrated of all, the tokay. And the Chinese name for these is Bihu, which is a name I love, which is wall tiger, because they are then just that ferocious at taking down smaller creatures and insects. It's a little bit high, and we don't see too many of them in this particular area of Beijing. But it's nice to see them so soon. It's a bit dark to see it, but here's another one. There it goes. My phone won't focus on it, sadly. That's good into that. So here we've got a better view of Swinho's gecko, so Gecko swinhonis. It's one of the most northerly distributed geckos in the world. It is in the genus Gecko, which is, of course, taken from the sound that some of the larger specimens make, gecko, gecko. So although it looks about the size of a house gecko, it is in fact a proud member of the gecko genus. Very cool little lizards, and as I said before, the Chinese name for them is Bihu, wall tiger, because of their ferociousness in catching prey on the wall. And here we have Xiong, Bear, the snake hound, who is very anxious to get at this little gecko, but won't. But yeah, they're very cute. We see them fairly regularly here in Beijing. No, you can't have the gecko, Xiong. So, we're here for lunch, and we are having another very traditional Beijing dish, Beijing hot pot, which differs from a lot of hot pots that we have because it's in a special bespoke copper pot. Inside, there's no electricity leading up to heating it. This is charcoal inside that keeps the water sizzling. And we just put in all the raw ingredients. Look at all that delicious Delicious meat. Looking forward to this immensely. So with the Beijing hot pot, most other hot pots we've had, the soup base is actually a soup base. You can have different flavors, chili, mushroom, fish, whatever. The Beijing kind has to be enjoyed, look at that prime cut of meat. It has to be enjoyed with almost just water, with just a little bit of onion inside the flavor. So you get the meat, the meat isn't frozen. So you get the real taste of the meat itself. And it cooks in just a few moments. And is then dipped in the soup base here and eaten. Delish. So after just a few seconds, the meat is perfectly cooked. You dip it in this case, sesame sauce. It's so tender and juicy. So this is the shoulder of lamb, very, very tender, from the Xining area. How flavoursome it is. So good.
So which one is good better?
It just melts apart in your mouth. It's so tasty. They're both nice. So there's something about hot pot eating that I find extraordinarily relaxing. I think if it's the steam blowing up into your face or opening up your sinuses, it almost has like a soporific effect, and you can just feel the weight come off your bones as you sit here, just with this lovely smell wafting into your face as you just eat. So first full day here, and I've met my friend Scott Lupien and his wife Xiang, and they brought me to a nice place just for a little walk, but also because there have been Ukatokus sighted here before, and it's a species that both of us have still yet to see in Beijing itself. I'll see what we can find. So we're looking at a nice black spotted water frog, I think, Pelophylax nigromaculatus.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Trying to catch it for a better look, but no. He says no.
So there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't reach it with this.
Yeah, it's a shame that the longer handle net broke. Unfortunately, we were unable to get to the pond that we wanted to. However, looking along the riverbank, we have come across this Asian toad, Bufo gargarizans, just sitting happily in the water. I do love toads, but I'm going to leave this one here instead of bothering him with the net. So, we have found a perennial favourite of mine, Bombina orientalis. Over there, look, there's one at the bottom there.
A lot.
Yeah, look how many there are.
Tons.
So,
Let's see a tadpole.
have you got one?
We need pictures of those too.
Here, bring it up. Let's have a look at the other side.
I'm going to send a picture to Kevin.
So, unlike the animals in the UK hobby, do you mind if I
Take it?
they don't have the green and black back that's
Yeah,
so
the US
pretty
ones do
of
too.
the Korean specimens. However, if you turn them over, they certainly have the fire belly that gives them their name. So look at that, Bombina orientalis, the oriental fire-bellied toad. This is an animal that I have kept for many, many years.
Huh? I'll take
No,
them back
no.
for photos. I'll
So
get
it's,
some photos here, but
Extremely cool seeing them in captivity, even if it is in a little pond. Here, do you want them?
I want you to get a video of me too.
Yep. Literally, in here, there's about a dozen of them. Oh, look, there's one there, look.
Yep.
So, Bombina orientalis, oriental fire-bellied toad. Sinus made me really happy to see. So, I'm told that the Chinese name for this species is lingqian, or bell toad. It is actually not native to Beijing and its environs. It was introduced in 1927 by a fellow called Liu Changchoi, whose name is also appended to a snake that you get around here, Lycodon Liu Changchoi. As you can see, it's quite dull on top, but it's called the fire-bellied toad, and it has this fire belly because it actually packs a bit of a wallop when it comes to the toxins that it secretes. And so it warns off potential predators by showing its underside, which obviously red and orange and black are warning colours in nature. And so when it tells predators that it is extremely distasteful by showing off these colours. And they have a very cute little calling sound which goes a little bit like boop, 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 which is very pleasing to hear at night. But yeah, so Bombina orientalis, oriental five-bellied toad. So we are up Xishan and we found a mating pond of Bufo gargarizans, the Asian toad. This one seems to be a little late to the party. Should we move her to the water? I think we should, because we can hear them all in the background. And if you hear very carefully, you can hear the sound of Bufo calling. Oh, and there's Bombina here. Look at all the Bombina. Wow, there's loads of Bombina. Yeah, listen to the boop, boop, boop. Can you see the Bombinas? Oh, I can hear the male release call. Do you hear that? That's the sound of a male that's grabbed another male.
They're fight, right?
Mating.
Mating.
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at mating battle.
Here we are to get pictures of eggs.
That's a weird position of mating.
Yeah, the males go really desperate.
Oh,
Look at all the Bombinas.
oh God.
Well, we need
That's
to film
four.
that. If they're not careful, they can drown the female.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
one got out.
Oh my God.
Okay, everybody be quiet for just a minute so I can record the sound.
Yeah. I think you're doing it wrong, son. Oh, shit.
Oh,
That was close.
that was close.
That was very close.
Okay.
Trying to get to the photos of the Bombina.
Almost.
There's a ton of them up there too.
Yeah.
Here, beach.
Yeah.
I mean, on the beach with this pond.
Oh, here's another one, so tiny one.
So we are all here at a pond up at the top of Xishan Mountain,
Oh my God.
and we have found the motherlode of Bombina orientalis. I don't know if you can see all the eye shine over there from the torchlight, but there are literally dozens of these little Bombina along the banks of this pond. I don't know if you can hear the non-stop. Oh, they're copying me down here. Did you hear that? They're copying. Scott.
Copying.
Yeah, this one's calling. So I've actually managed to get this one to start calling. Oh, and he's gone right into amplexus with that one. We're literally surrounded by amorous Bombina.
There's a ton of them.
So yeah, that was worth climbing up here for.
Yeah. You getting some good pictures over there, Tiger?
Oh yeah. Pictures.
Let's give this a try. Oh, that one's joining in. That would top the night off. I'm literally surrounded by
Eggs.
baby and small bombinas.
Get a picture of those
They're
baby ones
all
right
over the shore, they're swimming.
there?
I'm together.
Or there. Ooh. Slippery.
Yeah, it is really slippery, as I found out to my cost.
Oops.
I don't know if you can hear this on the camera, but they are booping to their heart's content. Oh, look, there's some amplexus here.
Can you record the video?
Yeah,
I mean, record the calling.
yeah, I'm trying. Oh, well, they stopped. This is kind of an off day. It's the night after we found all the bombina, and Jenny and I have just decided to come to a spa for a bit of a massage. Back home in the UK, this isn't really a done thing regular unless you're taking physiotherapy or something, because it's so expensive. Here we've just booked around 2 hours each of foot, shoulder and neck massage for around £20 each, so that's pretty good. And if you'll bear with me, and now we're just gonna sit and wait for the masseuses to come. Nice.
How do you feel?
Deep relaxation. This is the life.
To kind of white legs.
So we're here at the airport again. We're about to get on the plane to Dunhuang. It's been a long day, it's a bit delayed, but we will be getting off at the Gobi Desert in about 4 hours' time. Looking forward to it. So here in China, the information is so good that all they have to do is scan your face and they will tell you the details and updates of your flight. How amazing is that? And so we've landed safely in Dunhuang. Temperature is 37 on the ground. It's really hot even in the airport, but we're basically surrounded by desert. It looks amazing. You can already see some really cool aspects of the local culture. It's going to be fun. So, dining in Dunhuang means one thing: lamb, and lots of it, cooked in various delicious ways. So we are here in Dunhuang. We've just had
We've just had lamb
lots and lots of lamb,
and skewers.
all the skewers. So this is a very famous city here in the about center northwest of China. It's really important historically because it was a conflux of three of the roads of the Silk Road. From the south, you had the road going through India from Lhasa in Tibet all the way up to Mongolia and into Siberia. You had to the west the Hekshu Pass, and to the north Russia. You're throwing me off my little talk. And to the north Russia, and they headed into the central lowlands of Xi'an. Back then, the capital of China was Xi'an and Chang'an, I believe. We are 1,400 meters above sea level, so this is just the start of our trip. We're going to spend 3 days here, and the intention is that we're going to be visiting some of the local cultural and historical sites. This is a really interesting ethnic area as well, both ethnically and religious. Got lots of Buddhist monasteries, there's lots of Muslim buildings, there's Turkic influence, Uyghur influence, of course Chinese, Han, Tibetan. So it's a really interesting city with a lot of history. And there's a fountain going off. Yeah, so here we are. We got the boat. And we're getting wet. Are you enjoying?
Very much. Although we don't know how to paddle.
You didn't think you'd be getting this close to it, did you? So following morning in Dunhuan, it is again extremely hot. We are visiting the Mogao Caves, a series of underground monasteries. We've just purchased a ticket down into it, so it should be quite fun. We're just driving out into the Gobi Desert to visit the Mogao Cave grottos, a series of 1,000 grottos painted with Buddhist art and sculpture. And it's basically just desert as far as the eye can see. This is where I want to play.
Play where?
On the sand. I wonder how many Phrynocephalus there are on the dunes. What we're looking at are a series of grottos carved into a cliff more than 1,000 years ago by a Buddhist pilgrim that was travelling from India across to the Gobi Desert. And one morning he stared across the million sand dunes of the Gobi and was greeted by a vision of enlightenment of 1,000 Buddhas in the rising sun. And inspired, he set down his travelling stick and dug a hole, a grotto, in the side of the cliff and meditated. And since then they have added many, many grottos, each filled with amazing art. Here we are at some of the Mogul tombs. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to actually take any photos inside, so I can't show off any of the amazing sculpture and artwork that we are being shown. But we are being guided through cave by cave. So we're outside the biggest temple, and it makes me wonder, it's a massively touristy area now, full of people, but 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, when there were Buddhist pilgrims making their way across the harsh and parched desert, this place must have appeared to them like an oasis or a mirage. They would have crawled in dry, parched and dusty, and sort of traversed from a world of dust and sand into nirvana, basically, just caves and grottos full of ecstatic colours, blues, golds, looming statues, eyes looking down. It must have been a real trip. As you can see nowadays, it is really just a bit of a tourist trap. Still very worth having a look at, though. We are at the bottom of the Mingsha Mountain sand dunes. It's almost like a carnival atmosphere here, literally tourists from all over ready to make the climb up the sand dunes. Notice that there are lots of people, especially girls, dressed in the traditional outfits like dancing girls and all that, which is... And eventually we're going to go up there. Now they will come to make the pilgrimage on foot. We hopefully will be doing it a different way. So as I was saying, many people are climbing up these sand dunes to the singing sands at the top. There are all sorts of legends about people disappearing on the vast and trackless sand sea. This is why we small game hunters don't climb. We ride. Maggie. I don't know if you can see, well, let me try and adjust it. So we are currently ascending the singing sand dunes of Mingsha Mountain. Maggie behind us, and Jenny in front. The view is fairly spectacular. It's not the most comfortable of rides, but it beats walking. So, nearing the top, we've nearly crested the dunes. I was hoping for, I admit, some herp activity, maybe Phrynocephalus toad-headed agamids, or Eremias, maybe Eremias przewalski, but I think it's pretty dead up here in the heat. That said, there are very definite signs of lizard tracks here. You can see the little feet and then the tail dragging in between. So we are literally in the middle of a sea of massive dunes, several hundred feet high. We've been camel riding up them, sliding down them all day. And I can just imagine for travellers of old, pilgrims and merchants crossing the Silk Route, it must have been quite an arduous journey. Imagine then the relief they must have felt when they crested these dunes and came across what must have seemed like a miraculous mirage, the Crescent Moon Lake. Stopping off point for watering and not dying of thirst. Mingsha Mountain is also called the Singing Sand Dunes because in areas, as you walk up, the sand beneath your feet crunches, moans, barks, or even chimes, depending on where you are. Nobody knows the real reason for this. It can be down to particle size, humidity, what the grains are made of. But there are 4 sort of well-known sand dune deserts in China, one of which is here at Mingshan Mountain, that are called Singing Dunes. In this evening, though, Singing Sand Dune has taken a new meaning, as there is a massive festival of walkers that have climbed up the dunes and are putting on a bit of a show. Something that's quite endearing is that many of the people have dressed in traditional outfits, the old costumes of the area. And they're all up there singing and chanting and holding up lights, which is pretty cool. There's a bit of a concert playing, and they're just sitting on the sand dune, having a good time. This is the life.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
So behind us, the singing sand dunes are actually singing. There's a bit of a concert going on. It's all very well lit. One of the things that I find here in China is that the nightlife is always fun. People are always having a good time, lots of light shows, fountains. Of course, say something.
So currently they're saying it means the true love, if you miss, you will never have it again. So we should love people around us. Yay!
Even you? Even me?
You're the best one to deserve my love.
The sheer scale of this isn't quite caught here. These sand dunes are not just little beach dunes, they are hundreds of meters high. And you can see just thousands of people just dotted up there. What an evening, what a day. Oh, somebody's dying.
The concert under the starry night, seen by thousands of visitors, people. All these little lights are people who holding the
glow sticks.
Yeah, the glowing sticks.
It's just so cool. Look at that, they police dune buggy. I love it. I want one. So we are traveling through the Gobi Desert to a place called Screaming Devil Town. Very interesting place where the rocks are grown in such a way that the winds howling through them create strange noises. And it was said that they were inhabited by devils. Basically, or a little whirlwind, just as we're going past this kind of dust devil, I suppose you can call it. So today we've made a long journey across the desert flats to a place called the Yumen Pass, which is a garrison and commandery at the sort of nexus point of the Silk Road, guarded the Hexi corridor. And there were several...
Very end of the Silk Road, the west end of the Silk Road.
And it is very hot, very dry. Frankly, I have no idea how people... Yeah, there are dust devils all over the place. I have no idea how people used to just travel across this desert without cars and air conditioning. Much less comfortable than we have. I'm just going to go and see the ruins now. All we have here on this mural is the entirety of the Silk Road, Rome and Paris, somewhat out of alignment, maybe. Samarkand, Tashkent, Lulan, all the way into China. This is where we were yesterday, the Mogao grottos, the Buddhists' sort of paradise, all the way here to Yumen Pass. So this is the small castle behind us of Yumen Pass. We move in a bit. Should be able to see it in the background. There we are. It's behind us. There was a sign inside the center that said, in the ancient world there were 4 great civilizations which had far-reaching lands and knowledge. They were ancient Greece, India, the Muslim world, and China. This is the only place in the world where all 4 converged right at the end of the Silk Road. So historically, this is where those 4 great civilizations met, mixed and merged and learned from one another. And through trade, passed different items between themselves. So this is what's called the small Fangpan Tower. It is one of the last remaining earthen ruins left from the ancient China. And this is one of the places where there was a conflux, a harmonizing between ancient civilizations. To the south, India, to the west, Greece. China itself, of course, and the Muslim world. This was the place where they exchanged goods. We saw an exchange of gunpowder, paper, jewelry, skins and furs, spices, and of course silk. And we can only imagine just how rugged these people must have been to have trekked so far in these conditions. I mean, you can see it is just desolate here. There is no sign of life whatsoever. You can't hear any insects. There's no birds in the air. There's occasional sign of lizards. I can see their prints and holes, but so far nothing visible, nothing alive. Just sand and dust and grassland interspersed with rocks and the very occasional wetland over there, which I would love to investigate. I bet you this is where all the life is. But even so, imagine travelling months and months between garrisons, you know, at the risk of bandits and brigands of the Zhongnu. So I'm inside what remains of this great earthen tower, one of the last best preserved earthen buildings of the ancient world. Little Feng Tower, one of the destination points at the end of the world for those ancient peoples, at the end of the Silk Road. And outside the garrison, literally horizon to horizon as far as you can see. On one side, the Gobi Desert. On the other, the foothills of the Himalayas, basically. The Qinghai Tibetan Plateau. And thinking about it, there's a reason this is such a humbling, almost, very emotional, spiritual experience for me. I'm from Gibraltar, and right at the top of the rock, one of my favourite places by Jewsgate Cemetery, there is the signpost of the Pillars of Hercules, Mons Calpe, Gibraltar, Mons Abila, North Africa, the hub of the Western ancient world, from Phoenician, ancient Greco-Roman times. So, in a sense, I've come from one side to the other. To the west, Gibraltar, the western hub, all the way to the other side of the world, to the eastern hub in China, where these great civilizations would have met, traded, and prospered. It almost feels like completing a circle. This afternoon we've come across the Gobi Desert. It's been another 2-hour drive or so. You can see in the background just the first of these Yadan landforms. We're actually not allowed into this UNESCO World Heritage Site at the moment on foot. We're waiting for buses which are going to take us to the jeeps. We'll be getting a jeep tour around this UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Yadan Global Geopark, or in local language it's called Ghost City or Devil City, because apparently some of the landforms formed by wind erosion out there in the desert are said to hold a life of their own and scream and shout when the wind blows. So they were likened to housing a multitude of ghosts or devils all singing and screaming in the desert. So this should be a good one. So this is one of the first Yadan landforms here in the Dunhuang Geopark. It's called the Golden Lion Yadan. It's supposed to look like a welcoming lion. So this is sedimentary landforms. A lot of clay, no loam, and it's all formed by wind erosion, just the sands being blown across the desert at high speed, just carving these unique structures out of the soft rocks really has a kind of otherworldly appearance. Okay, yeah, now I can see why they call it the welcoming lion. That actually does look quite a lot like a lion. Or, well, either a lion or Zool. I hope that when the wind comes rushing through there, it doesn't make that sound. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not in Kansas anymore. Basically, horizon to horizon, just flat, featureless sand with the occasional rock outcropping. We have been told that there are 4 species of lizard out here. I assume that there'll be mostly Phrynocephalus and perhaps some geckos. There's a yadun out there that looks just like the Egyptian Sphinx. I don't know if it's audible on the phone or not, but we're starting to hear some strange noises coming through the rocks as the wind picks up. It is a landscape that is beautiful in its harshness and hostility to life. We've arrived by jeep at an area of the Yadung Valley Park called the West Sea Fleet, because apparently it looks like the ships of the Western Fleet all lined up. Look at that review. I feel like I'm on Tatooine. It's literally this area, horizon to horizon. Oh, I'm getting sand in my eyes. Walking around this just desolate area. There's just howling winds. I don't know how well the phone camera picks it up, but you can certainly imagine the ancient peoples attributing them to the voices of distant spirits. I don't know if they were quite loud a minute ago. It is also very arduous walking on this sand. Again, very distantly, the sound of howling as the wind moves through these bizarre rock formations. I don't know if it's just loud enough for the phone to pick it up. I hope so when I hear this back, but it's definitely creepy as hell, frankly. I can imagine being a pilgrim here, just moving through this desert and hearing these almost like whispering voices in the wind. Very bizarre. I'm scanning the sand for any sign of tracks, basically any sign of tracks that have been made by human feet. We've been told by the guides that there are the size of the indicated about 6 to 8 inches long. I imagine that would be Phrynocephalus prozawalski. That's how you say it, like larger toad-headed iguanas. Quite a nice sort of apricot orange lizard with a dark stripe down the back. They've said that they don't think there are any snakes in the wind, but they've indicated that there is some kind of weird reptile, maybe a foot and a half long with no eyes. As far as I'm aware, there are no amphispanians out here, so the only species that I believe that they were referring to might be Eryx biliaris sand beetle. So that would be a good thing to find. But that's It is hot as hell. The ground is baking, at least 60-70 degrees. It's very, very hot. So much, much too warm for any reptile to be out. I'm hoping that as the evening draws on to sunset, as the sun comes down, we may see some activity yet, and possibly geckos. I know that there are Teratoscincus from this area, monster skinks. There's actually a genus of gecko, though, kind of burrowing gecko, which I would love to find. Let's see. Much louder howling wind now. Being brought out deep into the middle of the Gobi Desert by jeep. We are literally in the middle of nowhere. Let's see what we can find. Apparently the driver says that there are even Tibetan wolves in the area, although he's never seen one himself, but other drivers have seen them. So, plus I'm expecting things like pikers to be on the actual rock formations. So, what a place. The sun is a bit lower than it was. It's about 26 degrees. As you can see, we are hours in the middle of the desert. We've had a interesting jeep drive. Right behind me is a yardang. I'm hoping that there are pikers on it, but we never know. This is basically what this is made of. It's a fairly crumbly sedimentary rock. And it's sort of all scattered and eroded around here. Amazing just scenery now that the sun has stopped beating down so mercilessly. It really is quite a spectacular evening. Even here, right in the middle of nowhere, no cover, no vegetation. You can see it, but there are little tiny Phrynocephalus burrows. These are the burrows of little toad-headed iguanas. I've seen them retreat into there. Heaven knows what it is they're actually subsisting on out here. Ants, I suppose. We're right in the middle of the Gobi Desert. Allowed to wander by myself quite a distance away from the jeep. In fact, I can't see where anybody is anymore. I feel like I'm in a David Attenborough documentary from my youth. Just the words Gobi Desert, it's almost like legendary to me. The number of dinosaur fossils that we found in this area is immense, and just all around me, sand, 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 more sand as far as the eye can see, except in this direction, where we can just about see Ghost City, or Devil City. And we can hear all kinds of loud noises on the wind. It's just blasting through me. Great fun. So we moved from the gravel step that was crunching underfoot to pure hyper-arid sand, just sand grains. I came down into this basin thinking it looked like there might be water or something, but no, just more sand. No sign of life at all, except for this one fucking fly that won't leave me alone. There are, of course, quite a few species of large mammal out here. Tibetan wolf has been seen, so I'm told. Palace cat is out here. Chinese mountain cat, I believe. Pikers, we saw one in one of the rock outcrops. Unfortunately, my battery had died. pretty sure they must be lizards, although I don't really see many tracks of them. I think it's just a little too late for the diurnal stuff and a little too early for the nocturnal stuff. There is some vegetation here, which I'm told is the only vegetation that can survive in this environment. It really is a unique, unearthly habitat. It reminds me of nothing so much as the Namakaru that I've been in South Africa. Although I have to admit I saw a lot more lizards in the Karoo. There's no hint of bitterness at all in that. But let's see what we can find. Looks like this might be our final stop of the day. The wind is really picking up now. It's moaning and groaning quite a lot. We're just going to sit here and wait for sunset, which should happen in about half an hour or so. And I'm just going to poke around whilst we do that and see what I can find. Probably nothing, but you know, if you don't look, you don't find. After a bit of nagging of the driver, we've been there's a lizard. Jenny, get me the net. Quick, quick. Get the net quickly. And here's a little Phinocephalus. See if we can have a go catching it. Something we're not going to keep, but I just want to have a look at it. So, as I was just saying, there is a little tiny Phinocephalus we just managed to catch. Very, very, very tiny. Little agamid. You can see the adaptations are running on the sand on the toes. Those cool scales. What really strikes me is just how tiny they are. I'm just going to put him back. Oh, and off he goes. Look how quickly he went. That is a lot of stamina for such a small lizard. What a little cutie. Here is another Phinocephalus, slightly larger than the last one. I don't know if it's a different species or just a more mature animal. It's basically in the middle of the sand. I'm going to give it another go of netting it. See if I can get a closer look at it, see if it is the same or not. So yeah, it does turn out to be the same species. The other one must have been a slightly younger animal. Very, very cool. The scale adaptations for this. If you look at the eyelids, they've got fringes to protect them from the sand. The lips, again, adapted to basically keep the sand out. So you can focus properly on this thing. Oh yes. Look at that. You can see the feet of adaptations are running on the sand. You see those spiny scales on the toes, very similar to Acanthodactylus lacertis from Europe. They're called Phrynocephalus or Phinocephalus. Phryne for toad, cephalus is head, so toad head agamid. I'll have to check which species exactly this is. So we're looking, it's got 4 bands and a yellow post-cloacal marking. I've got a feeling that it might be Phrynocephalus Qinghaiensis, which will be a lifer for me. Let's let him go. So quickly they disappear. Ready? Whee! Gone. Wow, I did not see where that went. We'll catch up with it in a minute. There it goes. Very, very quick runners over the sand, as you've seen by those finger adaptations. There it is. You notice it's got little pink markings behind the armpit where you can see it as it breathes. How cool is that? There we are. Absolutely cute little lizards. Air temperature at the moment is 26 degrees. UV is next to nothing, I would think, although I don't have my UV meter on me. I've walked quite away from the car. I would expect these to require quite a bit of UV, though we're quite high altitude here, and there's very few clouds. Oh, what a little beauty. I'm so happy to have got a good footage of this. I'm going to stop chasing it now. Probably. I just find that so cute. Really cool little lizards. Really impressive is the camouflage on these things. So not only do they fly over the sand like ghosts, but they can move. I'm going to get a slightly wider angle so you can just see how they sort of skim and shimmer across the sand. Look at that. So today we have come to Jiayuguan, which is it's one of the most famous passes of the Great Wall of China, and it's on the westernmost limit of the Great Wall. It's a Ming Dynasty section of the wall that was supposed to guard from the Xiongnu at the edge of the Silk Road. So we've driven about 5 hours. Just our luck, this area gets 40 millimeters of rainfall every year, and it all seems to have fallen this morning. So as you can see, we've all purchased our little coats and our shoe protectors, and we're on a bus being driven around to have a look at the site. So we're here together right in front of the section of the Great Wall at Jiayuguan Pass. This was one of two great military passes that defended the east end of the Silk Road, and was one area where there was a lot of mingling of culture and civilization. As I was saying earlier, it's rained for the first time that we've been here on this trip. It's a bit of a shame that it didn't rain yesterday, because I get the feeling that this would be an amazing place to herp otherwise. Behind us you can actually see the Great Wall, which is built between two hills, Jiayu and Jiayuguan, making it the final pass before entering China as it was back then. There's a really interesting legend up there where the general in charge of the construction of this pass asked his foreman the exact number of bricks that it would require to build that entire section of the wall, and the response was 99,999, just one shy of 1 million. He asked his foreman, "Are you sure that would be enough?" And so, just to be safe, the foreman said, "Okay, we'll add one more." And so the legend goes that when the wall was finally completed, it indeed used 99,999 bricks, and there was one brick left over, which has been left at the head of the wall to this day, loose, as a testament to the foresight of the foreman. A little robot walking around. And of course it's got tattoos. Ni hao. Oh, it actually answers back.
嘉峪关市现在小雨，室外温度18度，空气质量良好 ，PM 2.5雾霾指数41，可以雨中漫步了。
谢谢。So here we are at the start of the Great Wall, guarding the Hexi corridor, a narrow path between two hills. This might have been the site that greeted any traveller coming over the Qinghai Tibetan plateau into the flatlands of China and the Gobi Desert. So as you enter this fortress, you've got a great big bas-relief in bronze of the scenery carvings of the Great Wall itself. Camels, Jenny and Maggie for photo opportunities. Smile. And again, one of the things that we keep seeing in this area is its special significance for Buddhists. A lot of pilgrims moved through this area, passing through the Hexi corridor, coming to the Mogao grottos. This is the corridor of steles, I don't know how to pronounce the word, but steles, which features inscriptions and dedications to the emperor by the builders of this section of the Great Wall. Dedications. It's all in ancient Chinese, so even Jenny can't really translate it. But you can just tell that this is an area heavy in history and meaning. So this entire section of the wall passes through a very narrow pass called the Hexi corridor, which was kind of like the zenith of this section of the Silk Road, the central section. On the one side you have the Gobi Desert, flatlands, hot, barren and arid, and then in the distance, far in the other direction, the snowy covered peaks of the Chilean mountains and the foothills of the Himalayas and the Qinghai Tibetan plateau, which we'll be going over the next few days, rising in elevation. So we're going up and up each day. Those that know me well are probably aware by now that I'm quite keen on collecting and painting historical and fantasy miniatures. And I have to admit, I do have a Kickstarter coming with Warriors of the Three Kingdoms, my favourite book. Miniatures from that coming hopefully before the end of the year. I'm getting a little bit inspired. Maybe at some point I might actually try and have a go at building a replica of part of this. And here we've got another mural of one of the other most beloved works of literature in China, next to Sangguozi, Three Kingdoms, Journey to the West. Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, Tripitaka, Pigsy, Sandy. They passed this way on their way to Gandhara. So we've taken a little bit of an opportunity here on the Great Wall. I was kind of talking a minute ago how I used to like the fantasy and Three Kingdoms. I may have done a thing. When I was young, I used to practice martial arts, and my shifu used to call me Xiao Lubu. He was one of the warriors of the Three Kingdoms, very famous for using the halberd. And I had quite a liking for it. So they did allow me to cosplay and walk around on the Great Wall.
Random people just coming to take photos with Francis. It might seem very interesting to them that a foreigner dressed up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Turn back. How do you feel?
Very, very self-conscious.
How do you feel being a celebrity in China?
Extremely self-conscious. The cloak is getting in the way.
Take it off.
The cloak is very difficult. Very difficult with the helmet look. So we've come out for the evening to the night market in Xining, something that Jenny has been looking forward to experiencing for a long time. The smell, I cannot describe how tasty it is. All that you can smell is the air cloying with spices, the smell of meat, cooking lamb, people just like literally just butchering meat on the side. It's incredibly lively and vibrant and so much fun. I think Jenny is entranced by the skewers. Wow. I started filming this video 3 hours ago. We've been out here all evening. We've eaten so much. Everyone's gone home already. The streets have cleared. A few of the bigger sort of buildings are still open, but we are absolutely jam-packed to the gills with different street food from our little street food safari. What do you think about it, Jenny? Was it tasty?
Very good.
Yes?
And very satisfying.
Yes.
Without having to pay a fortune.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the perks of eating. So this morning we've just left Zhangye. We are driving out to the Zhangye Danxie Geopark. It's a different, very different geopark than the one that we were in Dunhuang a few nights ago. As you can see, the terrain is rapidly changing as we approach the Qilian mountain range. And I think that today is going to have some pretty spectacular landscapes. So we are here at the front gate of the Zhangye Danxie Geopark. this is yet another UNESCO World Heritage Site. I don't know how many of them we've seen in the last 4 or 5 days. It seems that every day we see 1 or 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and it just shows what a treasure trove of amazing natural wonders this area is. So yeah, this is the museum for the Xining UNESCO Global Geopark. As you can see, the reason that we're here is the insane rock formations, which, as we get deeper into the park, you'll start to understand why they're so special. This place is very, very futuristic looking though. It's just flown past, but we're literally just walking into the geopark area, and we've just been buzzed by a Seika falcon, which is a lifer for me. So we are inside a private tour bus just in Xining National Park. It has been called one of the 10 wonders of the world, and voted by the Chinese as one of the most amazing natural landforms in the country. And we'll show you why in just a moment. Just coming into the view.
深度游呢，又分为3站，分别是卧虎峡观景台、七彩鳌河观景台以及张掖土林风景区
Rainbow Mountains
处观景台。
Foothills of the Chilean
景区
mountains.
游览又分别为普通游览和深度游览。普通游览是体现的是张掖七彩灯上和造型之奇。
It's kind of like the Alam Bay in Isle of Wight, but just on a huge scale.
车窗两边山体的颜色已经发生了过渡性的变化，我们可以看到有红的、白的、黄的、灰的，以及深浅不一的特色，就像大山穿上了艳丽的民族服饰。我们可以发现，它们会随着时间的不同和空气湿度的不同以及季节的不同，它们所呈现出的亮度的颜色也是有所不同的。
Beggaring belief. I've seen photos of this effect and thought that they were photoshopped or retouched, but no, we are standing here in the Rainbow Mountains of Damxia. And the effect is just incredible. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it's completely cut off from the outside world. To actually come in here, you've got to get through quite a bit of finagling because it's very bright. Because it rained yesterday, the colours are very clear. But yeah, there are 2 tracks through here. One is the public way, which the standard ticket gets, but if you fork out for a private tour as we did, they actually take you on a much longer route deeper into the mountain range, and I have to say, standing here is eye-opening. Just the changes in colour, consistency in the various sediments it's amazing. So there are mountains in America, Chile, Australia that have a similar effect to this, but the scale pales in comparison with Damxia in China. We are currently in Crouching Tiger Gorge. It's almost like a psychedelic effect. We've climbed about 100 meters higher and being confronted with an even more bold and garish rainbow on these mountains. Absolutely stunning. As I said, I had seen photos of this before on the internet and never really believed that they were real. They look touched up. But as it turns out, Truth
We are very
is stranger than
lucky.
fiction.
If we were here yesterday, we wouldn't see this kind of view
Was that because
because
of the
it
rain?
was raining. So
The rainwater has brought out the colours
the
of the
actual
striations.
the actual clay contains mineral. The main kind of mineral is iron,
Iron.
and
yeah.
the rain contains a couple of different minerals that reacts with the iron
Hydrogen and oxygen.
and enhance the color.
That's why it's so red and bright today. So we really did come on the best day. Mind blowing. So this hill in front of us is known as the Crouching Tiger. The head and the nose is there, the eye, the head, its back and its haunch. And the ancient Chinese saw Lao Hu, a tiger, in this formation and named it as such. Simply put, this whole area is in the foothills of the Qilian Mountains. It starts off at altitude of about 1,300 meters, so already about as high as Ben Nevis in the UK, the highest spot, and it rises up to about 2,700 meters, so immediately doubling almost the height as it rises to the Tibetan Qinghai plateau. Looking down this gorge, this was a riverbed, but it's dried out like everything in this area. But you can see a splash of pink among the reds and greens and browns, and that's peach blossom trees sprouting. We've been told that there's quite a lot of wildlife in this area, but it tends to be very difficult to see, except in winter. This place is haunted by snow leopards, apparently, wolves, pikas, Tibetan foxes, and I have been told fuchsia, which is a type of snake which we've narrowed down to Gloideus species, most likely Gloideus crocolatus or Gloideus hallis, I would think, in this area. They're said to be very small, but you never know, we might have a chance to see one later on. Moving on here, this particular area has got gold stripes. And now this is like a golden part of the mountain, and it really does shine with like a sort of golden sheen from all the multitude of rocks at different angles. Look like gold dust. Really an amazing effect. This is a trip where we have seen several natural wonders. As I was saying earlier, at least 5 or 6 sites deemed UNESCO World Heritage Sites. I can turn a phrase, I think, quite well, but places like this just leave me speechless. If any of you watching take anything from these little videos that I've been filming, it's travel. Travel is the most life-affirming thing that you can do. Forget what people say, forget the media. Find somewhere remote that you haven't heard of, somewhere that appeals to you, and just get out there and go. I promise you, it is one of the best things that you can do with your time and money.
No word can explain how you feel until you are here. Yeah?
Absolutely. So looking here, we have what appears to be a flock of desert wheatears. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure they are. So we are 1,800 meters. In the distance you can see the distant Qilian Mountains. And we've climbed up to see this beautiful brick red colour. Our Mountain it's called. Jenny's just come up to me and said, "Oh my God, I've got goosebumps."
这个就是他们美
It
国人
really is
为我们中国民族
almost impossible to describe the
就这一条
amazing textures and colors that we're seeing on the mountains up here. I could just go on filming all day, to be honest.
而那边为啥是红色的呢？它就是因为这边的这个水它不是一次性，它不是圆的，它就是相当于椭圆形的一个感觉。哦。而且我们从这个
So it's quite a view.
这个边际里边，从这个俯瞰图上看下去，那些地方它是一个观音的一个头像。哦。很神奇。你先看一下这边的这个山体样貌。
Simply epic. I bet there are gloideus down there somewhere in all of those plants. But in all seriousness, I am just watching patiently for any sign of movement that might indicate a mammal running across. Apparently there are blue sheep that are quite rare as well. Tibetan foxes, Tibetan wolves, snow leopards, although apparently it's the wrong season for them. But you know, when you're here on holiday and for the first time, your imagination just says, who knows what might happen? So you never know what might appear. So the way that these striations in the earth are formed seems to be because about 137 million years ago, during the Cretaceous period, early Cretaceous, this whole area was actually underwater, part of a lake. And further on, there are some quite interesting dinosaur trackways and footprints that have been discovered. But what seems to have happened is that there have been deposits of silts and sediments with different mineral colours in the rocks. They're laid down due to tectonic movement. From geography, I kind of remember anticline and syncline movements, the anticline going up, syncline going down, as folds happen, creating these stripes. That's probably extremely butchered, but you know, I haven't been in school doing GCSE geography since 1996, wasn't it? So looking into it a bit further, I'll clarify that these colourful hills are composed of early Cretaceous mudstone and siltstone, which were deposited in a lake between 137 and 96 million years ago. Due to the different minerals in the rocks, that's why they show such a varied number of colours. Around 37 million years ago, strata were lifted up to the surface and were weathered by natural processes and erosion to give these colours. And what the guide says is that although this, like many of these UNESCO heritage sites in China, is protected, in other words, people cannot come in here except as part of guided tours, and obviously very limited in where they can go and what they can touch. It is protected from people, pollution and so on. Unfortunately, it isn't protected from natural process. So what he says is that when it goes, it goes. It's only here like this for a certain period of time. We've moved back down to a lower altitude, and this area is known as the Earth Forest. It's a unique landform that gets made in arid and semi-arid regions, formed by strong water erosion and tectonic movement. And this area is about 100 million years old. It rose up at the same time as the Qinghai Tibetan plateau. And through a process of water and wind erosion, it forms these unique landforms like trees. And they give it the name Earth Forest. And there are more earth forest landforms here. In fact, we're actually quite lucky because we are being allowed to follow this platform, which actually gets closed off when it rains. So we've come a perfect day. It rained yesterday, it's nice today, and we've come on a perfect day to observe all these lands. So here, unable to actually get any closer, but along this area, which was once the bottom of a silt-covered bottom of a lake, there is one of the more recently discovered and better known dinosaur trackways, thought to be a sauropod, Qinghai titan, and it's actually become quite famous because it's taught quite a lot about sauropod locomotion. It seems that the animal was swimming, or at least partially swimming, because it's only got partial imprints in some areas. There's a really romantic notion, though, that across a span of time, that human mind just cannot grasp the concept of 137 million years or thereabouts under the same sun and same sky, but younger. One of these long-necked giants put its foot down right next to where mine is. There's just something very haunting about that. And there's a very famous Chinese poet called Yi Bai, who was famous for carousing and for drinking, but also being a poetic genius. It's actually quite a good film in Chinese language, an animated film about him that was quite emotional. And it's said that this rock is named after him because it looks like him spreading his hands, offering a cup of wine. And this stone is likened to Tripitaka, the monk from Journey to the West, and it's said that it is reminiscent of the episode where the turtle bows before him and asks when he can return to being human. So this area of the mountain range is on the tour focused less about colours and more about shapes and the evolutionary processes that have formed these amazing landforms. They look almost like termite mounds or castle towers. Up there, this one is supposed to be said to look like Hogwarts.
上节我们看啊，这些就这一边墙壁上、山体上，它是有这些红色的东西，一层一层不一样。这个我们可以理解。
And as you move, the rock formations change, faces can form and then disappear again. Very eerie place, timeless. So this area looks like a castle. You can see different streaks and colours on the way up. In the light it looked golden. And the different surfaces of the clay and gravel reflect light slightly differently, giving it a shimmering sheen. So it's the golden castle. Here the rock is sort of chalk white, almost bluish, with yellow streaks. And it's formed almost like a honeycomb structure. It leads up there and becomes golden. This landform looks like oyster mushrooms. Can make a very hard hot pot. So this is a toad frolicking with a camel. A toad there, a camel head here. And here, this one is called the camel looking back over its relatives. And it really does look like a camel turning its head over it to look back at its hump. This area, water, see, it's almost as like dripped down. Almost looks like the inside of a cave, like St. Michael's Cave. And it's formed the clay into these weird sort of, almost like stalactites. So this one is called the Golden Rooster, heralding the break of day. And then next to it here. This stone is called Deep Affection Between Mother and Son. Looks like a scene of a mother and son hugging each other. And that stone up there is known as Boya playing heptachord. It's named after the ancient musician Boya, who sits cross-legged playing his heptachord. And here, it looks like the head of a snake rising up out. So this is named after the white snake. Two more snakes here. So this one is called Lady White Snake, and this one Lady Green Snake, coming out and basking next to one have a lantern that looks like a person holding a newborn infant to their bosom. I like this little formation here, as it looks like water or pebbles have run down, and there are these little waterfalls of stones coming down these channels. Cute. So this building is quite famous, as it appeared as a noodle bar in an old film. This area is very famous for dinosaurs and fossils. There have been some very unique and edifying finds that have changed our outlook on a lot of things, including sauropod locomotion. I think that this is a replica of He Titan, whose footprints we passed earlier on in the day. So we've just boarded the train from Jiangye to Qinghai by route of Xining, the city in Xining. It's about a 2.5 hour journey, and we'll be moving from between 1,400 meters, so already higher than Ben Nevis, I believe, up to 3,300, which is the base height for Xining city, before going even higher up onto the Tibetan Qinghai plateau over the following few days. The scenery is ever changing outside, and I'll be doing updates just to show what we're seeing, as it can be a very scenic route. To give an idea of how high we're going, the guard has just seen me with a couple of bottles of Coke to drink during the journey, and had warned me not to open them on the train, simply because the change in altitude means that at higher elevations the pressure inside the bottle is so much greater than the pressure outside that if you open it, it'll explode. So that was the first indicator that where we're going is a little bit sort of higher than most people are used to. Xining itself, I believe, is 3,300 meters above sea level. To give you an idea of how high that is, Gibraltar is 426 meters, which is basically lowlands. Ben Nevis in the UK, the highest point, is 1,200, 1,300. And I think that there aren't very many places in Western Europe anywhere near that high. There's a place in Andorra that goes above 3,000 meters, Cirque de Gavigny in the Pyrenees. Mont Blanc on the Italian and French Alps, I think, goes over 4,000 meters. You can get altitude sickness from 2,200 meters onwards. Now, I've only traveled to high altitudes a few times in my life. I know for a fact that I've gone over the Pyrenees a few times, so definitely around 3,000. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to be affected this time, but then again, I'm a bit more of a fat fuck this time, so hopefully that won't go against me. I have been practicing with my snoring as well at night, because apparently if you have sleep apnea, or if you snore a lot at night, you can find that the lack of oxygen gives you a headache and dizziness in the morning at low altitude, rather high altitude, low air pressure. So I've been a little bit preparing for this trip, but I'm genuinely quite excited, because, as I said, we'll be starting at 3,300, and by the time that we have completed the circuit of Lake Qinghai, moved further south to Lake Chaka and south to Hojili, it will be 4,700 minimum that we'll be reaching. So look forward to that. So we've just got off the train at Xining in the Chilean Mountains, the hinterlands of the Himalayas. We are at altitude around 3,000 meters. As soon as you step off the train, you can just smell how different the air is, how clean and fresh. Tonight we'll be going to find our hotel, and tomorrow we'll be heading deep out to the monasteries around Lake Qinghai. So we're going to try a little experiment. I bought this lovely cold bottle of Coca-Cola in Jiangye with the intention of drinking it on the train, but I was told not to because as we ascend from 1,400 meters above sea level to 3,000 meters above the sea level, it will explode if you open it. And actually feeling it, it does feel really solid. We haven't shaken this, so now that we're in Xining, we're going to open this, having brought it from the lowlands, and see what happens. That was an anticlimax. I could have drunk this hours ago and I'm very upset. I've been so thirsty. Oh well. So we have a bit of a feast here. We've got lamb skewers, various other dishes, lamb cumin, spring lamb. So this evening we are, for the first time in Xining, the restaurant is called Gajiangwa, and this is their signature dish. Spring lamb, less than 140 days old.
No extra spices, just some salt and pure lamb.
And the flavor is supposed to be so good that it doesn't need anything else. So you just appreciate it by itself. That's how sweet the meat is. So, well, by all accounts, it should be tasty. I'll give this a try just by itself. It's just brimming with natural flavor, doesn't have any kind of additives or strong spices, just really sweet meat, delicious, very soft. The other way of eating it, if you do want to add a little flavor, you can dip it in a bit of spice, take a mouthful, and then you have to chew on the fresh garlic. That is extraordinarily good. So this is called yempei. It's made of fermented wheat and it's used as a drink here to offset the greasiness of the lamb. It's basically lamb makes up most of the dishes. So you have this drink to offset that with the fermented wheat. Give it a go. So we are now at the Tower Monastery, Tibet. It's supposedly the second largest and most popular monastery in the region after Lhasa to the south. We're just about to go inside and have a look. Very touristy though. So this is the entrance to Tower Monastery. I've been told that as you step over the threshold, you cannot touch the metal bar with the studs at the bottom of your feet. And you've got to put your left leg forward. See if they do it right. No, he did it with his right leg forward.
Anyone that wears Tibetan costume knows the rules. They do right if you look carefully.
As we came into the monastery, we were wondering what the burning smell was. It turns out they've got a massive brazier full of incense. There's a very large and ornate gate here, and decorative columns where there are the itinerant monks worshipping. So unfortunately photography is not allowed inside any of the temples, so I can't show you the amazing sculptures, statues, tapestries and so on. But this particular temple is home to the sandalwood tree at the middle of the monastery. Tower Monastery was founded in 1536, and its founder, when he was born, his afterbirth and umbilical cord were buried, and where they were buried, a sandalwood tree sprouted around which the monastery is built, and that is in here. Just looking up at our hotel in Xining. is 25 stories tall. We are on story 23. It's got a lot of lights going on. Now they've got a bit, it's all me. We are now at about 3,200 meters. I've managed to badger the driver enough to let us out and have a bit of a stroll. We're on somewhere on the Tibetan Qinghai plateau. I can see, oh Jenny, pikers! I can see pikers running down there. So we're looking at some sort of rodents here. They look like pika to me. You should see it. They're very small. But it's just in the center of the screen. This one doesn't seem to have noticed me, but there are a few of them around. Yep, there it is. There's another one running around there. Oh gosh, there's loads of them. He's at an entrance to his burrow. Where'd the little boat fellow go? I think he's gone to ground. Yeah, his burrow's here. Landscape that can make you cry. Oh, and there are more pikers down there. So many of them. Oh, I can see loads running down there. Oh. There's a beautiful little stream. Oh, there's pikers all around me, my God. There's a larger one down there. But look at this view. Just watching a little piker eating the grass, and behind it I believe these are snow buntings. I don't know what they are. Oh, fight. Oh, it's coming to me. There's a little piker. It seems to have seen me, but it's silhouetted against there. There are 4 little pikers all looking at me with their heads up. See how close? Nope, now there's only one. Hello, little fellow. Aren't you a cutie? We have stopped on a lush, verdant alpine meadow. The scenery here is out of this world. In the distance you can see the higher peaks. of the Tibetan Chilean mountains. Tomorrow we may be going through them. At the moment we are at about 3,500 meters, and there are just animals all around us. The mountain air is so fresh and clean. There are birds everywhere. I can see animals everywhere, flowers everywhere, birds flying. It's just a beautiful place. Up here there's all kinds of really interesting microhabitats. You can see this seeping, dripping water amidst a meadow of basically marshland or bog that leads to a small stream down there. I'm going to have a quick look, see if there are any amphibians. There is some kind of colourful goose over there making a strange noise. I'm going to see if I can call it. Are they actually geese? I definitely heard that. Oh, they're replying. We have a communication. There is dialogue going on. I would like to get a closer look so I can check up what they are later on. There they go. Mountains, grassland, wild flowers from horizon to horizon, as far as the eye can see. Truly, this area is as remote as you can get on this planet without going to Antarctica. The air up here is a little bit thin, so I mean, I'm not really experiencing any ill effects, but I can definitely tell that I'm having a bit more laboured breathing. So here in Qinghai we're eating yak meat. That's very nice. We've also got various plants that are found only on the alpine meadows. With, oh, that's quite spicy, nice. With plain rice and washed down by barley tea. How true. Absolutely beautiful adult frog. I have no idea what it is, but it looks like it's marked on the side. I'm going to try and switch the camera to the side without scaring it, but it's a really beautiful little aneurin. I just don't know what it is. There it goes. Is it a Rad's toad? It looks like it might be. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So we've got this little Thomas the Tank Engine kind of train just taking us around the edge of the Lake Qinghai. The scenery is still absolutely breathtaking. Going around Qinghai Lake, and up ahead I think I can see something really cool. Yeah, look what we can see. Wild camels. We've come out onto a sandy peninsula on Lake Qinghai, and of course the scenery is wondrous. There is a herd of wild camels, as evidenced by the fur and droppings. We just passed them. Everyone else is over there taking pictures by the pretty tents and all that, but me, I'm looking for the wilder stuff. Let's see what we can find. Okay, wow, and under shore of the lake, I can see thousands upon thousands of little newly metamorphosed froglets or toadlets. Wow, look how many. I'm not sure what species they are yet. I'll have to grab on and have a look. Earlier on, we found what I think were Strauch brufo, or Pseudepidalia radae, as they're now known. What are these? Yep, these are the same. So these, I believe, are a species of toad. I don't know which kind though. And where there are toads, and so many amphibians, there are sure to be predators, so I wonder if there are any snakes around here. Who knows? It's a bit high altitude, but... So these little froglets are literally all over the bank of the lake. So as you can see, the grass is alive with movement. Thousands upon thousands of them scurrying from the shore into the water. Just approaching this herd of wild dromedaries. Maybe semi-wild actually. Looks like a couple of them might have reins or harnesses on. And that's cool either way. Just seen an adult toad crawling along. I think, yeah, unless I'm very much mistaken, this is Pseudepidalia, although it doesn't look exactly the same as the radae. But what a beautiful little toad. So I've just come across, half running, half hopping across the dunes, this beautiful little toad. What a thing of beauty is this? How cool is that? All right, I'm going to let you get on your way and stop bothering you. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye. That said, I'm sitting here quietly. There are larks or pipits of some kind singing just in front of me. Camels grazing. A beautiful scenery. Two skies. The sky reflected in the lake, and in between them a band of impressive mountains and beautifully fluffy clouds. All too often, as naturalists, we kind of just tend to look at something, take a picture and move on. But you know what, I think I'm just going to sit here for a while and just watch and be enveloped by this tranquil atmosphere. It's not the sea. This is the largest lake in China, 3,300 meters above sea level. One of the local Tibetan words for it is the mirror lake, or the lake of two skies. You've got the sky above and the sky and the sea reflecting it, or lake reflecting it. Absolutely beautiful, and surrounded by the Chilean mountains. So today we've come to Lake Chacha, which is spelt as Lake Caca, unfortunately not pronounced that way, and anglicised as Lake Chaka. Yibombe! It's one of the highest altitude salt lakes in the world, at 3,200 meters, and we have rented these ridiculous jelly boots so that we can walk out into the brine and get photos. Well, I came out quite far. Everyone else is up next to the shore, but I thought I'd walk out quite a way. It's shallow, only about a foot deep. The wind is howling in the middle of the lake. I made the mistake of dipping my hand into the water and tasting it. It is incredibly salty, like many times saltier than say I had to spit it out or wrench it out. Unfortunately, also it's so salty that my hand is kind of starting to burn, which is not great, but yeah, I've been a little bit bold and I've walked out about half a mile into this immense salt lake, way further than everyone else has. But the scenery is just as spectacular as everywhere else in this region. We have purchased genuine Kekexili salted ice cream. So it's salty, so let's see. It's not bad actually. Okay, it's not so bad. We were laughing, but it's quite nice. We left Chacha Salt Lake. We've now risen up above 4,000 meters and we're starting to get to the beginnings of the true Qinghai Tibetan plateau that will eventually culminate in the great grassland plateau of Qekexili. This is beyond those mountains. There is a massive upland plateau, flatland, with great herds of many rare and endangered endemic mammals. You can just hear birds all over. Looking over, I can see various species already on the ground. We've seen cranes fly over. The place looks absolutely amazing. Breathing is starting to get a little bit more of an exertion. Okay, we are just around 4,700 meters. This is as high as we go. We are allowed no further into the wilderness that is Qekexili, or Kekexili in Tibetan language. It's one of the last great remote places in the world. In fact, it is the third largest isolated remote place, apparently. It is quite difficult to breathe, actually. We're kind of doing 2 breaths in, 1 breath out. The ground is completely iced over. There is a small babbling brook. There are pikas, Himalayan pikas, running around all over the place. Birds of descriptions that I can't name. But this is as far as we are going. Unfortunately, both Maggie and Jenny have begun to feel the effects of altitude sickness, getting a bit dizzy. I have to admit, even I can't stop yawning, which is one of the symptoms. Everyone's basically just been dozing for the last couple of hours. But this is one of the most isolated places in the world. We came, we've seen wild yaks, we've seen blue sheep. We were hoping to see chiru, but as of yet none have appeared. I'm not really allowed to be filming too much here, as we're quite near several military bases apparently, so Westerners are allowed no further into this region. To give an idea of the scale of this UNESCO World Heritage Reserve, Qekexili or Kekexili is roughly the size, 4 times the size of Wales. It is the highest flat plateau in the world, averaging 4,700, 4,800 meters. And I'm told that just over these mountains there is a 5,000 meter desert upon which the great herds can be found. Unfortunately, this trip I'll never see them. But in the future, I think I will make the effort to try and apply for a Tibetan visa and delve deeper into both Kekexili and Xinjiang, where so many unique and endemic species are to be found. Well, there's a pika running up there, Himalayan pika. The sad truth is that humans are not really meant to live at this high, and the mammals that have adapted to live at these altitudes have unique pulmonary adaptations to do so. There are quite a number of deaths reported. In fact, just last week, a group of 3 young people were in fact found dead from a combination of exposure and altitude sickness. It is now illegal for people to just wander into this reserve, so most of it is fenced off. Said this is as far as I can go. So Francis signing off, and even there you can see cattle and goats up on the hills. Even at this altitude, the Himalayan pikas are super abundant. But there it goes. Jenny, look. Pika, 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 next to the main road. And there are just so many of these things. Frolicking around. And disappearing into holes as you get too close. We are here in Xining night markets. Our last night in Xining. And we're just sort of walking down, trying a little bit of everything. And we are having, of course, skewers. Oh yes. Literally freshly sliced, cooked right in front of us on the grill. Maggie, what have you got?
炒凉粉.
Bless you.
This is made by potato flour, stir fry. I don't really know what we say in English. 炒凉粉.
小凉粉, Jenny. What have you got there?
My favorite.
Your favorite? And what is your favorite?
Chicken feet.
Chicken feet.
Without bones.
Oh.
So they took the bone off. And
What
they
flavor
made
have they
with,
put for you?
Spicy and garlic.
Enjoy.
Hello, what did you get?
I got my favorites. Grilled oysters with glass noodles and spices. They're very addictive.
Be careful.
Another load of skewers. I don't mind if I do. Different style, different sauce, different cuts. Just as tasty. now I have yak skewer from Qinghai.
How is it?
So good.
Is the meat tender?
Please roll mine now. These are my absolute favourites. Grilled oysters with spices and chili. And the best thing is, 4 of them for 10 yuan. I would just like everyone to know that I fucking love grilled chili oysters. It's one of my favourite dishes here. And the price is 4 of them for 10 yuan, which amounts to basically 4 for £1. So basically 25p each. Boiling hot, just cooked. And basically just filled with chili, garlic crushed, and glass noodles on top of the hot oyster, and it's so good. This is my national dish.
Do you prefer this or the raw one?
Good question. I think I would say this, but the raw ones are nice too. The problem with the raw ones is that the difference in taste can vary too much depending on where it comes from. If it comes from like a very silty or muddy water, the taste can be impacted. It's very hot though. So we are here in Xining station, train station. This is our last day in the uplands. We're now getting the train down to Lanzhou. But one thing that I very happily found is that, oh yes, when you're waiting for your train, they very helpfully provided row after row after row of massage chairs. So you can just wait in style. Oh yes. I'll see you in half an hour. Best train station ever.
How do you feel?
Oh, it's taking years off. Oh, this is so good. We need these in the UK.
I think it would be a good idea to have it in UK.
Oh yeah.
So it's less cost for labor.
Oh, it's beautiful now. I like this. So we've come down from the highlands of Qinghai on the train from Xining to Lanzhou. It was a 55-minute train journey. We're here at a particular spot that we wanted to see. You can see there's a carnival-like atmosphere all around us. And that is because, if we shuffle over, we are directly next to the mighty Huanghe, the Yellow River, the second longest river in China after the Yangtze. Surprisingly, it is actually yellow. It's the 6th longest river system in the world. And this is the first bridge, Huanghe, the first bridge to span the Yellow River. It started way up where we have spent the last few days on the Qinghai Plateau near Yushu. It has collected this yellow colour from the Loess Formation, the Loess sediment, and much of this gives colour from the Gobi Desert as well. It is historically an extremely important river in terms of human civilization. It is said that this Yellow River system is in fact the cradle of ancient Chinese civilization. It is a river of a complex dichotomy of bringing both life and death. It was famously known to have many major catastrophic floods that have devastated the region. However, it is also what brings fertility to this region as well. And it's just such an amazing feeling to just see the yellow sediments, just the color of the water.
In Chinese, we call Huanghe the mother of river, the mother of the river. Down that way, we can see the statue of a mother and a child. So because Huanghe is how China can become Thailand.
Yeah, so it's like the cradle of the ancient civilization.
Civilization, yeah.
Yeah, and just historically one of the most important, you know, a very important, an iconic place in human history. So we've climbed up Bataishan Park, up to Baita Temple, and this is a view of Huanghe, the Yellow River, and Lanzhou from above. It's roosting time just around Baitashan. The literal trees are just filled with birds of all sorts. I don't know if the camera can pick out just how many there are in these bamboo bushes. Some of the old and across the bank, some of the new.
Cute, cute. Cute, cute. Wow. Very small, but very nice.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
I can get a little crown too.
Yeah.
It turns out that Lanzhou Airport also has massage machines. So this is going to be a very nice way to spend the next 50 minutes. Good night. Do you like the massage?
Oh my God.
Put your arms in the slots. Yeah. See you in 50 minutes, dear. So we're in the airport and we've been queuing up for the most popular vending machine in the entire place. 45 minutes of queuing have finally got us here. And what it's selling is the local Qinghai cream in various flavors. Maggie and Jenny are getting quite a bit of it.
他每次就取一个一个的取，这不能成批买呀。那咱们可能时间要久一点。
Is it really bringing them one at a time? Well, that's going to take ages. They've selected 8. This is why there's such a big queue. 45 minutes later, I had to move away because I thought they were going to get lynched by the queue of people behind them. They managed to fill up their bag with the very slow machine full of Qinghai cream. And so we are finally on the plane back from Lanzhou to Beijing, back to Maggie's house. Yeah. Was it a good trip? Educational? A lot of fun? Yep, I think it was a very successful and fun trip. We saw a lot. The scenery was absolutely amazing. We saw a lot of wildlife. We saw a lot of cultural places of interest, geographical places of interest. Mission succeeded.
And lots of food.
And lots of great food, yes. Signing off. And so we have left Lanzhou and are on our way back to Beijing. So we are back in Beijing, and I've come over by taxi to meet my friend Scott Lupian, who has guided me around herping Beijing quite a lot, and he's managed to catch... Ooh. Better grab it. Better grab it.
Slippery.
As we were saying, he's managed to catch a Chinese softshell, Pelodiscus sinensis. It's, I think, the only native Beijing turtle, you said?
Right.
There are quite a few other ones introduced. Obviously, you get red ears and cooters and sliders all over the place that have been released, often by Buddhists for good karma. But this is a native Beijing turtle. He's already made quite a few attempts at nipping me, but what a beautiful little creature. They get quite a bit bigger than this, is that right?
Much bigger, 30 centimeters.
Ooh, so this one is still
quite young.
Really an adolescent.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're just going to drop him off. Is that a bird or a cicada?
Cicada. ahead.
Oh, now he doesn't want to run. Now he wants to stay where he is.
You gonna go? If not, I'll just do this.
Tickle his bottom. No, he doesn't. There he goes. This is why nobody likes turtles. They're just so contrarian. When you're trying to hold them, they're going crazy, and then when you want them to go, they just sit still.
This guy usually is running all over the place. Hard to get pictures of. Alright.
We'll do it the easy way then.
Yeah. Okay, guy. Back you go.
Bye-bye. So this is the king rat snake that we caught last year. The first time that I met Scott, he found it as he was on the road meeting me.
Yeah, not 2-3 minutes from your hotel.
And it is an absolutely beautiful king rat snake, Elafe carinata. The Beijing form just seems to be really yellow, although they don't seem to grow as big.
White, not as big. Yeah. And the other thing is that their bands go all the way to the cloaca.
Yeah, they don't sort of just have yellow at the front and then go to black like a lot of the others do. They're just
the solid color, or speckled rather, just starts at the tail.
What a beautiful snake. That's
Get
just
struck at there.
Yeah, the dog is pushing his luck, I think.
But no, it's actually the snake's luck. He hurt himself.
Yeah.
Impressive, huh?
It's nice to see a snake well looked after as well, and like it just has so much meaning as well. You spent so long looking for one of these, and it's just so great that you've got such a nice one now.
Yeah, it's just great. I was a little disappointed that one in April wasn't a female, because you'd be seeing two in there right now if it were a female.
So we've stopped for the night with Scott and Xiang at the Trout Bistro. Or the Thai Lotus as it's called here in Huairou, where we've met some of our other friends, Tiger, who is also an avid young herper.
And our bear.
And here we have the snake hounds, Xiong Xiong, Bear. Xiong Xiong. Look, come on, you're going to be famous. No.
Xiong Xiong.
There you are. The cutest. And Floppy. They come with us everywhere when we go snake hunting, don't they? And we've met Tiger, who happens to have caught a small king rat snake on his way here, Elafe carinata.
Oh, great.
We are taking a photo of a tiny Bufo gargarizans toadlet, less than a centimetre long, and look at all the equipment that we are using. Oh, and it's gone. Shall I go and get another one?
It'll be here. Oh, he sees it.
The toadlet has made a bid for escape. The toadlet has gone.
Hey, we'll just go down and take pictures by the water. There's a bunch down there. Okay, let's go to the water.
Okay. But I was going to do a video about all of this cool, complex equipment.
We're still going to use it. It's just down there.
We just started the evening by having a little walk up this little creek in a canyon. It's not day and it's not night. We were just hoping that maybe we might get the last of the diurnal snakes, or the first of the nocturnal ones. We haven't seen anything yet, but the conditions are really nice. It's quite cool, but not cold. It's rained, so it's humid. There's water around. We've seen quite a lot of amphibians already, so I'm hoping that we're in for a good night of road cruising. So we're out in Huairou, and we've got a Lycodon liuchang choi. This snake was only discovered in 2011. And it was found in... Oh, there's a big cricket down there as well. So it was found in 2011 down in Sichuan. And the ones there are either white and black or yellow. It wasn't until 2019 that this species was discovered up here in Beijing. Which is really weird because it's probably followed the mountains across. So most likely what was happening was they were getting confused with the Lycodon rufozonatus. The way you can tell them apart is underneath. The bands of Luchang Choi go all the way across, whereas Rufus Zonatus, the band stops on the side. It's named Lycodon, wolf tooth, so Lycodon from Lycaon, Don from tooth, so wolf tooth snake, and Luchang Choi is from Professor Liu Cheng Chao, that's it, who was also the person that introduced Bombina orientalis to Beijing around 1926. So this is actually the newest described snake of Beijing, I believe. And we're going to let him go. So these are interesting because nobody really knows much about them yet. A few people have tried to keep them. They won't eat geckos, they won't eat lizards. Tiger here has managed to get them to feed on skink tails and on egg liquid. So I believe that they eat snake eggs and may pursue lizards and take their tails and actually leave the lizard themselves. But what a beautiful little snake. We're just releasing the Lycodon Luchang Choi. Off it goes. Bye-bye. She wanted to keep it as a pet, but they are not very, these ones don't make very good pets. So unfortunately we found a dead on the road Lycodon Luchang Choi. As I said earlier though, we know very little about how they eat. So we're going to take this one back and dissect it. Have a look at its stomach contents. Well, it is, what's the time?
It's 11:30.
So 11:30, Diet Coke break time.
19.5 degrees.
19.5 degrees, Beijing, and we have found my first ever Beijing mandarin snake. I've seen this species in the south. It's a weird that they are in Beijing. It's a strange relic population here. I have been looking for them for 10 years. And 10 years, yeah. And we've just found one, and what an absolute beauty it is. It's so docile. The head patterns look really unique. In fact, the head actually does look very different to the southern ones, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was saying that today. That one has a similar head pattern to the one that Tiger took last time. Very similar to that.
What an absolutely beautiful find. I am over the moon. I've been looking for this species in Beijing for 10 years. So I've seen them in Wuishan, but what an absolute beauty. I'd say that this one is about, what, 60 centimeters?
It's a fairly big one.
It's a nice size, yeah.
It's about the same as the last one.
60, maybe even 70.
Put it down on the ground. I want to just take a picture of it on the ground.
Yeah. So this is a Euprepiophis mandarinus. Was named by Cantor in 1875. I think Cantor did a bit of a number on the Chinese snakes. He named quite a lot at that year. So the video got cut off yesterday as my battery gave out just before herping. But to continue with this, our friend Tiger found this beautiful female Elape carinata, king rat snake or stinking goddess. Although she hasn't lived up to her name, she's actually been fairly docile. She's only snapped a few times. The Beijing animals tend to be very yellow in color, and the yellow goes down all the way down the body. They also seem to be a bit smaller than the southern forms, which can reach up to 10 feet in exceptional circumstances. The Latin name Elape is for deer or deerskin, which is kind of ironic as this particular Elape doesn't have the lovely soft deer-like skin that some of the other Elape do. And then carinata, which explains that, which is rough or keeled. And this was named by Gunther in 1864, I believe. And it actually went through several taxonomic revisions. It was put in the genus Philophis, which means leaf snake for some reason. I think it was also placed in one called Spaleophis before they finally decided that yes, it is actually a rat snake and a laphe. As you can see from the shape of the head though, the keel of the scales, it sort of forms its own clade within the rat snakes that is shared with Elaphe davidii, David's rat snake, and Elaphe quadrivirgata in Japan, which is the four-lined rat snake, which have got high heads, large eyes, which are usually teardrop shaped rather than round. They also have very modified vertebral hypophyses on the spine, so those are the spinal modifications that are used to break eggs. In fact, Carinata has the most modified spinal processes of all rat snakes, very hook-like, and that belies the fact that it is an avid eater of birds and their eggs, as well as other reptiles and snakes, which is one of the reasons it's called king rat snake, and rodents. In fact, it's fairly adventitious and will take whatever it can overpower. But what an absolute beautiful snake. It's a little beaten up, but it doesn't do anything to deter from her beauty. It's got a bit of a tick there. But yeah, what a nice find.
是属于这边对读障碍，干什么都行，聊天说话看着就是说学习上的这个事儿，他有点听不懂。那可能就是因为这个工作，然后吸收营养不知道。后来那个谁，他那会儿就老天天为这孩子男孩儿就贴个褥子补完了吧，放着就光了，他妈还是也是让人问你说，我以前。
She said, let her, when you get good.